Not had the pleasure to meet. My name is Paul Soanes, and like many of you, I think of Nicky as a son. I'm going to divert a little off course today and not so much talk about Nicky, but more talk about his wonderful family and how they so profoundly impacted him and helped him grow into such a unique and special young man. I first met Nicky in the Cumberland clan when Nicky was about 4 years old, when my two daughters, Isabella and Michaela, joined Ali in the Indian Princess camp. And ever since then, at least through middle school, our families and children spent a lot of time together in many numerous and diverse ways, from playing poker, where Nicky assumed his pseudo name Nick the Knife, to the many skiing vacations in Breckenridge and the literally hundreds of cookouts with our families, as well as the omnipresent brat pack of Brian, Ben, and JL. From that front row seat, I got to watch Nicky grow and develop into an amazing young man. I'll never forget the first time I saw Nicky at preschool. Sean was sitting with him because Nicky was so scared and uncomfortable going into class, and Sean was comforting him very, very lovingly. And Sean did so every day for a period of time until Nicky felt more comfortable with going to school. But even back then, it was apparent that Nicky was someone special and that he was going to be a leader of this generation. And I wasn't at all surprised to see Nicky blossom the way he did at Memorial High School, where in his time he led school spirit by reinvigorating male cheerleading, humorously starred in numerous short movies, and then delivered a humorous and inspiring valedictorian speech to his classmates. Nicky came a long way from that 5-year-old who was too scared to go into class. Talk about a caterpillar turning into a butterfly. Oops, sorry. Reflecting on my early friendship with the Cumberlands, two things strike me. One, just how close Nicky and Ali were from a very young age, with Nicky playing with Ali's friends and vice versa, in a homogeneous and inclusive manner, with their respective friends coming over to see Nicky and Ali and not one or the other. And two, what an extraordinary close-knit and kind family the Cumberlands are. The Cumberlands are also extraordinarily welcoming and inclusive, so much so that my youngest daughter Lulu began referring to Sylvia and Sean as Mommy and Daddy respectively, relegating Josephine and myself to Miss Soanes and Mr. Soanes, and sometimes me just to Other Daddy. Sean has shared with me the attributes, what he attributes to the super close bond his family has had, and it's their observation of and continuation of a Chinese custom where the entire family beds together in a single room in a row. Sean is not embarrassed to say that they continued that Chinese custom beyond what is the normal time frame. And Sean, as a non-Chinese person in the family, was most disappointed when Nicky and Ali were old enough to move into their own rooms. I've often heard Sean and Sylvia describe their family as a unit of one with 4 parts, no one single part more important than the other, with all parts interchangeable and with one another, consistent with the elements of the Chinese zodiac. Sean, the earth; Sylvia, not surprisingly, the fire; Ali, the water, coexisting with everyone, effortlessly flowing around all obstacles and challenges, and the life force of all. And finally, Nicky, the wind, cast everywhere and consistently around us and surrounding us. I love the video Sean posted on Facebook of Nicky on top of Baldy Mountain in Breckenridge rolling in the wind, which so captured Nicky's spirit and zest for life. What a beautiful image. Nicky consistently around us and surrounding us for today and forevermore. I'm absolutely blown away and in awe with the countless Facebook posts and tributes from people whose lives Nicky has touched, and of his overwhelming, generous, compassionate, and caring actions, and his profound positive impact on people's lives. Simply put, Nicky achieved more in 20 short years than most people do in significant longer time periods. To me, knowing Nicky's loving and wonderful family for all these years, it's not surprising. Sean and Sylvia are the best people I know, the best parents any child could ever want, and that's probably why my 3 lovely daughters wanted to adopt them as parents too. The apple does not fall far from the tree, and Nicky took the combination of the best of each of his parents, Eastern and Western philosophy and culture, and married them together, expanded on all those great and unique attributes with all the love and guidance that was bestowed upon him by his grandparents on both continents, by Sean's brothers and their extended families, Scott, Brian, Lance, and Wayne, and of course Sylvia's family in China, and obviously Ali and his brother Yong Yong. And together they created the Nicky we know and love. The seeds of Nicky's compassion, selflessness, caring, and tenacity were planted and cultivated by and across multiple generations of his family, and by numerous actions and values that shaped Nicky's life. We can start very simply with his grandfather, Willard. Long before Nicky was born, 83 years ago, a 3-year-old Willard Cumberland fell into a well and was saved by a passerby, a 4-year-old hero named Iris Jones. To this day, a picture of 4-year-old Iris with 3-year-old Willard sits on Sean's desk and in the Cumberland household. A few months ago, Nicky, Sean, and Willard took a trip to Willard's birthplace in Mississippi to seek out Iris, to thank her, and to become reacquainted. That they would take the time and make the effort to thank someone from a heroic act 83 years ago is yet another example of the incredible multi-generational character and extraordinary values of the Cumberlands, and the kindness and caring that has always been at the heart of the Cumberland family. Sylvia. There is no doubt that Nicky benefited from the many long walks and talks with his mother Sylvia up and down Blaylock Drive, with Sylvia passed on Eastern customs and mindsets that so uniquely defined Nicky. As many of you know, Nicky was fiercely proud of both his Chinese heritage and passionately proud of Sylvia, her sheer determination, willpower, and tenacity. Nicky so admired her bravery in coming to the US, overcoming cultural diversities, and doing things she had never done before, persevering through all roadblocks. When Sylvia was completing her studies at the University of Houston, a professor wrongly stated that Sylvia had plagiarized a portion of work in a paper. Unperturbed and undaunted, Sylvia immediately contacted the author of the book that she was wrongly accused of plagiarizing, and submitted a note from the author to her professor confirming that Sylvia's work was indeed original. What tenacity, what commitment, what willpower to succeed, what fire. As many of you know, Sylvia was a frequent volunteer at Memorial High School, and in that capacity she befriended many teachers and the principal of the school. If Sylvia ever spotted an issue at school, she would go straight into the school and address them. And she taught Nicky likewise to attack issues straight on. Sylvia taught and modeled for Nicky the mantra of never give up. And this was never more evident when Nicky himself was faced with a 0 grade because of an unfair accusation of plagiarism, which risked Nicky securing the opportunity to address his schoolmates as valedictorian. Modeling Sylvia's example, Nicky immediately sought out the author of the book he was supposed to have plagiarized and delivered a letter from said author to the school confirming his original work. As you know, Nicky was ultimately honored as valedictorian of Memorial High School, realizing a life's ambition and delivering a rousing address to his classmates. Sean. The earth that sustains all. Nicky and Sean have a bond that only few fathers are able to enjoy with their sons. They are best friends and kindred spirits. Sean is, simply put, the kindest man I know. Very thoughtful, compassionate, always seeing the positive side in every event, and often following the path less traveled. Sean bestowed these amazing qualities on Nicky, Sean, like Sylvia, defines the notion tenacity, so it's not surprising that Nicky was so tenaciously driven to succeed in all that he did, and that Nicky was such a kind, caring, thoughtful, and compassionate person. Sean and Nicky shared a love for music that you saw earlier on, often working together to develop playlists so they could listen to during their many father and son special moments together, like when they completed numerous MS-150 bike rides and their many, many days skiing in Breckenridge, often with Ali and Sylvia. Sean often, if not always, refers to his father Willard as Hero Dad. Nicky certainly refers to Sean in the same way. Ali. I have mentioned already the exceptionally close bond Nicky and Ali shared. You just need to look on Facebook on each of their pages, and literally 1/3 of the pictures taken are of Nicky and Ali together, often with Nicky lovingly and carrying or holding his beautiful older sister. Nicky cherished and valued the love and guidance of Ali, who is wise beyond her years. Nicky was so proud of the person that Ali is and all that Ali accomplished, and sought to emulate her in many ways. When Ali was younger, we used to refer to her as Kitty Cat. But I can tell you today, after watching her the last 4 weeks, that it's evident that Ali is no longer a kitty cat, but has grown into a fierce lioness, protector of her brother and family. As many of you know, Ali has not only graduated from UT, but she also started a successful career with Prisma Energy, highlighted by her recent recruitment of Sean to the firm. Sean often refers to Ali as the CEO of the family, and I suspect that one day Sean will soon be working for Ali. I'd be remiss if I did not mention two other very special people that had a profound impact on the person Nicky is, that I really only got to know the last 4 weeks. The first, his brother Yong Yong, who Nicky loved and respected and formed an everlasting bond with, despite the fact they lived on different sides of the world. And of course, his soulmate Cleo, with whom he shared a special and deep bond. This is a family of love, and Nicky is a product of that love. When Nicky was at high school, his friends tell us that he used to use his graffiti skills to leave signs in strategic locations in Memorial High School, similar to the folk hero Zorro, except that Nicky signed his name as Pandito Strikes Again, much to the delight of many of his friends. What you may not know is that Nicky's inquisitive side led him to recently complete a DNA test, and with surprising results. Understandably, Nicky had a very high percentage of Chinese heritage in his DNA, but surprisingly also a significant amount of Irish heritage, making him the first leprechaun Nacho Libre Pandito on record. Finally, in closing, I believe God wants people like Nicky on earth, people who love selflessly and care about and help others in a compassionate and meaningful manner. As those of you in Houston know, there was a massive storm on Wednesday evening, and the weather was violent and unhappy the evening Nicky performed his last selfless act, giving his healthy organs to provide life for others. Put simply, I think God joined us that night, crying heartbroken that Nicky was passing. Today, the weather is perfect in every way. Sunshine, a light breeze, and no humidity, as we celebrate the joys of Nicky's life and lovingly remember all that he was and all that he did and the amazing young man that he is. I think God is smiling and rejoicing with us. Like all of you, I'm going to miss Nicky immensely. His happy laugh, his infectious and goofy smile, his humility and kindness. And selfishly, I'm going to miss our chats and over cookouts and skiing with him in Breckenridge. As I reflect on recent events, I'm comforted in my belief that Nicky is smiling at us from heaven, and that someday we'll all be reunited with him, and by some words of wisdom that I've recently learned, that I believe frame all of our futures with Nicky and that of his wonderful and amazing family. The first by David Seals. Seeing death as the end of life is like seeing the horizon as the end of ocean. And the second by David Romano, which I found on Nicky's Facebook page that was posted by Sylvia. When tomorrow starts without me, don't think we are apart. For every time you think of me, I'm in your heart. I think today and forever until we reach the horizon, Nicky's wind will be blowing and Nicky will be ever present in everyone's heart. Nicky, you are our wind. God bless and rest in peace, Leprechaun Nacho Libra Pandito. And know that we love you and are thankful that you will be in our hearts forever.